be wonderful to see everyone. You can probably see everyone's live responses, so that's good. We're getting a lot of folks, and we have Canada, we have USA. Hopefully everyone's able to access. Yeah. Oh, we have some folks coming in from Europe. So cool. I'll just give it a couple more moments for folks to share where they're calling from. Oh, we have some folks calling in from, oh, wow, look at that. And yeah, I mean, feel free, this link will be live for a little bit. So if you're just joining in, oh, Atlanta, GA, awesome. Hopefully you weren't too hit by the kind of really crazy storms we've been having. Now everyone's facing challenges. Oh, hello, Iowa City, Iowa. Great. We'll give it one more minute for folks to enter in. Right. Well, great. Wonderful to have everybody. Let me stop sharing here. Oh, New York, New York. Gotta love that. Me too. All right. So let me switch over to our next poll that we have. Oh, hello from Jakarta. All right. So the next question that we have for folks, let's see, let me get the link going and send everyone it over. Oh, hello from Philly. I will share the link in the chat to everyone. And then give me one moment and I'll screen share again. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Sometimes it's a little, with all this activity, bandwidth is really challenging. But feel free to start entering. So basically the question is, and I'll show it in a moment, is what are you hoping to learn at the conference? And let's see here, and we'll give a share here. It's loading up momentarily. Yeah, okay. It's great. Yeah, I think you can enter as many as responses as you want, so feel free to. Oh, greetings from Iran. Yeah, so hopefully everyone can access the link. Looks like that's okay. You can also scan the QR code if that's easier. You can access it on a cell phone if you're on your laptop or other desktop. Tips and tricks, looking best practices. I love the where to start. That's always key because sometimes there's just a tidal wave of information and kind of where to start is always challenging. Um, yeah, project updates, that's always nice because there's always a lot of stuff going on. And sometimes it's like, well, whatever happened to that project? Oh, art metadata, love the art, the art representation there. And I love, oh, great, connect with community. Looks like a where to start is becoming important. Yeah, feel free to write, if there's a similar uh, sentiment that someone else is sharing and you feel the same way, feel free to write that in too. So then I think that will make it bigger. We'll give it a couple moments for folks to send in what they think. Feel free to do more than one. It's great to see that folks have already had some investment with, learning about linked open data and, wanting to continue that practice and learn some more and build off that knowledge. That's great. Use cases. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of different use cases. It's nice to see how other people are using it. Can be such a varied outcome and also a varied process to get to that varied outcome too. Yes. AI ethics. Yep. That seems the ethics are a very real concern. I'm glad that that's at top of mind. All right. We'll just give it a couple more moments, maybe one more minute, and then we'll get up back onto the presentation, although we just have a couple more slides. Yeah, I just saw sustainability. I think that's like a huge consideration too. How I see sustaining a project. Yep. That's always that's always you excited, you see something, you try to do something, but then you deploy it and then what? So having that something in place to be able to have that project longevity is super key. Great.
All
Well,
right.
I guess I'll switch on over to you, Tim,
Okay.
for at least the share slide, and I can.
Great. I'm working on one quick thing, but I will start the video. I'll just do the video and then I'm troubleshooting something with the live stream, which is it's not quite working, but also getting the captions going. So let me just play the video and then we'll have a couple of minutes before our next session for me to, before Richard's presentation. And
Sure. Or I know there was one other slide about kind of like the different themes that we'll talk about. Do you want me just to share that real quick?
yeah, share that real quick and I'll
Okay.
finish these couple of things up and then we'll
All
watch
right.
the sponsor video.
No problem. All right. Bear with me one second. I'm a little laggy on my end. All right. I think this is called like being very agile when you just are just going with the flow. But kind of just to kind of continue on those ideas about what we want to learn and what we're excited about. It's wonderful to hear that some of the things that you would, are looking forward to learning are some of the main themes and also just main areas of focus. We didn't want to the program committee didn't want to like limit the theme to be one unifying thing just because there's so many different tangents and facets that we can go down when thinking about linked open data in practice. So kind of the main subject areas were exploring linked open data knowledge organization, kind of understanding a little bit with like case studies and kind of what that could look like visually, and also just in the knowledge organization realm, just authority control, and also some of the data and bias remediation work that's needed. And additionally, we've kind of talked through and looked at like linked open data and cultural heritage institutions. So from an institutional base, what are some of the strategies in developing, projects that are involved with linked open data, but then also like the tactical implementation strategy. So how libraries, not just big institutions, but smaller institutions, you know, how can um, how can they go about and implementation of those particular projects? And also we were talking about too, the sustaining, how those linked open data projects sustainable over time. And then also kind of what you have left is just this ecosystem and understanding the roles and responsibilities that come with managing that over time. And I think also we wanted to have some entry points for folks that maybe aren't as familiar with linked open data or we're just very curious about it. So we wanted to also include some sessions that are kind of folks new to linked open data, and like who does it, how do they do it, and then create. I love this was one of our program committees submitted, like creating databases for newbies and oldies alike. So we're all just in this constant state of learning. So we wanted to make sure that we had accounted for all of that. And again, this is just a refresh of what we had talked about in our first slide, and Timothy had like dropped some of the links in the chat. But again, you'll find all this information on our conference website, so feel free to take a look at that. And I guess, Timothy, do you want me to switch it back over to you?
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay. Let me just get that video queued up right now, and I will share my screen.
Great.
Okay. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yep, you can see the YouTube page.
Okay.
Looks great.
And this is a video from our vendor, Casalini Libri, or not our sponsor, Silver Level Casalini, and it just goes over some of their linked data initiatives that work with libraries.
Libraries everywhere. Libraries house knowledge, serve communities, collect information. Today, we all share many things online. News, photos, even opinions. And the information we share can reach people everywhere. So what about libraries? In the evolving information era, are there new ways they can share? The Share family is a community of libraries working together to answer this question. New ways of cataloging, web technology, a world of potential. By sharing our expertise and linking our data, together we can increase communication across catalogs, among libraries, and with people everywhere. Libraries today in the Share family connect information, collaborate with community, and make knowledge more visible in a way that is cooperative, sustainable, open, inclusive, and dynamic.
Okay, so I'm going to stop my share, and thanks to everyone. My audio is still moving on to the next video. So thank you to the co-chairs and to everyone for participating in the conference. We are just a minute shy of our first presentation, which will be from Richard Wallace. And let me pull up my my introductory materials for Richard. Richard Wallace will be doing a talk entitled Building a Semantic Knowledge Graph at the National Library Board of Singapore. Richard is sorry, I've got the bio somewhere else. Really quick, let me pull that up. So, Richard is the founder of Data Liberates. And Richard, I think we can hand things over to you. You should be a panelist, so you should be able to screen share and turn on your audio and start your presentation whenever you're ready.
Let me do that. Let me do that. I presume people can hear me. Gotta find the right screen to share. Hang on a minute, that one. Share that one. That seems to have appeared. So let me get the presentation that should go on that screen up and running. Go. Yes.
Yes, it looks good. We see your presentation.
Great stuff.
We hear you and see you as well.
Okay. Greetings from the United Kingdom. It's an hour later than I expected to deliver this. I'll let you into a little secret. There was a panic about an hour ago when I couldn't log in because we got the time zone wrong. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Uh, anyway, thank you, conference organisers, for inviting me to speak on this topic. I think this will sit across various of the subjects that were mentioned in the introduction a few slides ago, and hopefully be of general interest is something that's established and running. So first off, for those that don't know me, I founded Data Liberate. I'm an independent consultant and senior evangelist. I'm not going to whittle my way all the way through this, or we'll never finish. But I've been around computing and the semantic web and linked data for far too long. I've been involved in the W3C, worked with Google OCLC, who used to employ me at one stage, and worked with various clients, including the National Library Board of Singapore, who I've been privileged to be involved with for many years now, leading up to the project that we're discussing. So a brief agenda of what we're going to be talking about today. Quick reminder about the National Library and their resources and their knowledge graph ambitions. The linked data management system that was built and launched a while ago. And then the important part of the presentation, the continued developments on beyond the launch of that system, around data sharing with their entity data service, user experience enrichment across systems in their library using something called the sidebar API, which I'll explain a bit later on. And then enhancing the data quality of the knowledge graph by using external authorities to do that. So the National Library Board of Singapore brings together three operations, really. They run the public library network with 28 public libraries, plus the library system that backs it up, etc. They do the traditional National Library stuff, preserving print and digital heritage, legal deposit, reference collections, etc., etc. And finally, they bring in the National Archives data and are responsible for bringing that to the world. So behind the scenes, they have a lot of stuff. The library system's got over 5 million print collections in it. We've got over 35,000 oral history interviews. There's over 1 million photographs, all sorts of stuff, which they bring online to their community via several user interfaces. There's a traditional library OPAC. There's a search interface onto the National Archives. There's a content management system which is used to bring music and art and pictures to the public nature. They've got a system called Infopedia, which is Singaporean folk, that's difficult to say, Singaporean focused encyclopedia. They've got an electronic journal, they've got a history site, etc. And bringing these together raised various issues, which was driving their ambition, which they brought to the table some 4 years ago now, to enable the discovery and display of entities from different sources in a combined interface. So that's to bring together the resources, both physical and digital, across the library, and bring together the diverse systems, some of which the interfaces I just showed you, for the National Library, National Archives, and the Public Libraries Network in a linked data environment. And finally, to provide an interface for the staff to manage and the entities and their descriptions and relationships. But this ambition had some technical aspects as well. They wanted to produce a knowledge graph that was daily up to date. They didn't want a project that pulled together data and gave you a snapshot that was a month or 6 months or even a year out of date. They wanted it daily up to date with the changes to the data in the library system and other associated systems. They didn't want to replace the current cataloguing processes and practices. They wanted the library system to be still cataloguing in MARC as the current processes in the library management system. They wanted their authority control system, which is in a system called TTE, internal to them. They wanted that maintained in its current environment. And they wanted the Dublin Core content management for the content management system sites and the National Archives to continue as is. They wanted to move